Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, this is 1979's Sunny. Slightly difficult to show this poster, but it's red and it has kind of double images of a slightly seen naked girl, red, black. Sunny from 1979, directed by Sean Costello, who's a very, I believe, well-known hardcore director from the Golden Age. And like I've said before on this channel, he also has a style. And there are links. But sometimes those links are within 1 year. Sometimes they're within films made within that particular year for that particular director, and sometimes not. Sometimes, you know, it can span a couple years, but then sometimes there is an evolution in the style and in the direction of the director. Now, you will see my eyes divert because I will be looking at some notes here that I took, but this is Sunny. Now, we have piano orchestration, electronic 70s TV show type vibes, musically and stylistically, sensual, hypnotic, classical disco. There's a real strong sense of the best of when you are watching a kind of an awesome 70s TV show or even an awesome 70s TV movie. There's that vibe in here that only the 70s television vibe could give you. We have stories of history in this film. The themes of wealth and inheritance, business, crime, twists and turns. We have a real example from the get-go that, oh, hardcore films from the Golden Age were actually movies. Oh, there's a plot here. Oh, there's a script. Oh, there are twists and turns and story arcs and a variety of characters and different personalities, but with real sex in the mix as well? What is this? Who is this for? Why were these made? What is this? We have a scene in here. Well, real quick. The business, the crime, the characters, the story. You might see something like this in a crime film or in an exploitation film or in a Tarantino film or in a Coen Brothers film. I mean, you might see aspects of this in films like that, in you know, the type of story that's in here. We have a sex scene in here with a elderly woman instructing a sex scene between a guy and a girl. From my recollection, I can't recall anything quite like that before. Experience is a theme. Experiencing things is a theme. Sexual compatibility. Secrets. Twists. Money. Intention. Female sexual power of instruction. That is definitely a theme in Sunny. Females really having sexual power, but in a leadership sort of way, behind the scenes, twisting and turning, almost in a feminist way, overpowering men for their own needs. and or not the needs necessarily, not for their needs, for their own desires. Desire is a theme in this film as well. We also have racial elements in this film sexually, almost racial fetishes. Mother son power. Now, what I mean by that is there is an aspect of, they'll say sometimes that Jewish mothers and Italian mothers can be similar in when they have sons. There is a more of a kind of a control or something. That's what the stereotypes say about that. And in my experience, I have seen that in my own family and in my friends' families. And so you have the mother son, but just in general, mothers and sons, their relationship, the control in that relationship, the interesting control in that relationship that's not in mothers and daughters. Okay? There is something unique with mothers and sons, and you will oftentimes hear that serial killers are born of unhealthy relationships with controlling mothers. I believe if you research Ed Gein, there was that aspect there. Is that correct? I mean, I know it in the movie Deranged. I don't know how much of that is true, but is that aspect there? It's interesting to note that in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there is no mother, female mother, but the characters are playing mother, Leatherface in particular, in the kitchen sequence. So mother son power control themes, very strong, very, very strong. Something that Sean Costello seems to like sexually is fellatio, without a doubt, and fellatio with one or two involving one female, one or two things involving one female, trying to be as safe as possible on the site. But yes, and so fellatio definitely being a focus, and with one or a variety of appendages with just one girl. We have a commercial of sorts being filmed or photographed or made involving sexual violence. And this is also connected to voyeurism, the fetish of watching someone you are into having sex with other people, but now violently, or being taken advantage of, and the voyeurism and the fetish of that. 3 guys, 1 girl. Photography. There is this amazing character, this British short helper type of guy towards a rich guy who is just great. Every time he's on the screen, I just love him. I love hearing his voice. I love hearing his interactions. I love the way he's kind of like a butler that is not, confined to a mansion, to a Clue mansion, Clue movie mansion, but he is everywhere, boats and different, properties and just around. Now, mostly a boat, and we do have some great boat scenes in here as well. And if you're a Jess Franco fan and you like boat scenes and boats on the water, then these little sections could be of some interest to you, possibly. First-person narration is in this film as well, from Sonny, who is the lead. Now, this was rather interesting because even though the movie's called Sunny and you find out who Sunny is, you're just not expecting it. And it's not throughout the whole film, it's just in a variety of certain circumstances, which also makes it more jarring because it's more like experimental, that it's just happening occasionally or a few times. We have face sitting in here sexually as well. Not something you will typically see a lot of in hardcore cinema, depending. The theme of incest and its relation to the jealousy of a mother, power of a mother, control of a mother. Right when you think there is just the unhealthy relationship of a mother with a son, we also have the ideas of incestuous relationships as well. And the question of what amount of jealousy from a mother is in fact normal and what is not. There is an orgy sequence in here as well, for kind of like the last section of a hardcore Golden Age film. But Sean Costello has this massive, awesome party orgy sequence in this very cool house. Sexual power play in this movie is a theme as well, using rape as power. Now, oftentimes, and throughout literature and nonprofit organizations, and even maybe some feminist literature, you will note that sexual violence is typically born of power. Not lust, but power. In this film, Sunny, there is a definite lean towards sexual violence as a power move. Now, the questions always come up: are crimes of sexual violence power or lust or both? There are twists and turns in this movie that are dumbfounding to the last frame of the movie. And I don't want to be too specific, but there are some aspects of this movie that reminded me of Pretty Peaches Part 1, which you can see the review of on this YouTube page as well. And lastly, there's the theme of the self-made woman. You have the theme of the self-made woman. And this is a movie that's not just called A Woman's Name. It is based upon the power play of this woman with other women and with men. This is 1979's Sunny by Sean Costello. There is just the title right there. You can see the font, how cool that is. Thank you.